Good morning, everyone. Well, maybe it's good afternoon, depending upon what time you're listening to this recording. But I have a fabulous guest with me today. I have Elaine with me from Visiting Angels. Welcome, Elaine.
Thanks, Sandy. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. I'm excited that you were able to take time out of your busy day and join me and just chat a little bit for our viewers. So for you new viewers, if this is your first time joining us, thank you. We try to bring unique clips of talking with folks in the healthcare industry and actually outside the healthcare industry, but really kind of tuning into different needs and different unique topics that our aging population is facing. And so today I'm excited to have Elaine join us. Elaine, you're kind of like me. I think you've been in the field and what you're doing for many, many moons. Is that correct?
About 25 years of moons. So yeah.
25 years.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Awesome. Well, I am always interested, and I always like to share with our viewers, what brought you into the field? How did you even get started in the healthcare arena?
Really unconventionally. I actually was a food service director at a privately owned student housing organization in Madison, Wisconsin. And all of our properties were very quiet in the summer, and it was an investment portfolio of properties all across the US. And every summer we brought 300 to 500 seniors to our properties.
Wow.
And in the end, I was with that company about 18 years. I watched 350 people out of maybe 5,000 age over that 18-year period. And I didn't really realize it was a laboratory until Bob from Visiting Angels recruited me to come work for him. He's like, "You've got a gift." And it's not now. And anyways, he brought me in, and I found just a love and a passion for what I'm doing. And I brought so much experience from those 18 years working with all those folks and how they learned, because it was a company that provided educational vacations on college and university campuses across the country and Canada and Mexico. So anyway, it just was a natural transition, and we took it to the next level in quite a few different ways.
That's awesome. That is a different way to get introduced to the field, and that I love it. I love it. And you've grown your name in this area, most definitely. When we mention Elaine with Visiting Angels, people know you. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I was here with my previous company, which doesn't exist anymore, which was called Senior Summer School, for a long time. And then I've been with Visiting Angels over 11 years. So wow. Yeah.
So having been with Visiting Angels, and if for our viewers, Visiting Angels, what is Visiting Angels, Elaine? I could say it, but I want to come straight from you.
That's okay. We are one of the non-medical home care companies. So we function to help you to stay as independent as you can within your home. And whether home is, a home, or whether it's assisted living, or whether it's memory care, or even at the moment, if it's rehab or a hospital, our angels can come in and just support you with whatever you need to continue on where, what you're doing, whether it's rehabbing or whatever. So we provide like a personal assistant kind of service. Really, we do companionship, we do housekeeping, we run errands, we cook, we take you to the doctor, we report to your family. If somebody's not able to be there for you, we help people transition out of the hospital or out of rehab back into the home, one to the other. We are very supportive with dementia care. We've got a great dementia care program for our staff, and we just help you figure out what you need to do next, where you need to go, and how we can support whatever it is to help you maintain living comfortably and successfully as possible in wherever you call home.
And I love that you stated that early on, and then you just said it again now. It's wherever you call home. And for us with All About You placement and senior resources, obviously we're focused more on those that aren't able to remain in their home and they're better cared for in a more structured, supervised setting. But we partner with Visiting Angels. I know Visiting Angels partners with hospice organizations, and it's wherever somebody calls home and they need that extra bit of help, that extra bit of contact where the family can't be there, or it's supporting the assisted living community where they only have so many care staff, to be there at any given time. And you're definitely a great support for that.
And that partnership word is so important. Even home health, you mentioned hospice, but the PT, the OT, even if it's behavioral support, because there comes a point where people may not any longer be safe at home, and we help them to transition, when you guys take them and we start having those conversations with the family, because safety is always kind of that bottom line. If we cross that line where they're not safe anymore, now we have to get to an environment where they are. And that's where you guys come in. Or, if they really are stuck on it, that extra support of human beings in the home and therapy and all the things that will help them, to get stronger if they're willing and able to do it.
Is there anything, because you've been with Visiting Angels, you said 11 years. So is there anything that stands out to you over those 11 years, whether it be change that has kind of transitioned or come into play over the years, or just some common themes that you see that people just don't understand about home care? What would you say on that?
Yeah, a couple of things. When we first started, certainly their business was a lot smaller, but there were some people that had memory care, maybe 10% of a smaller population, how many clients we had. Now it's probably 60% of our folks have some level of dementia. And so that's super significant. I would also say that we had a lot more light duty, more companionship types of roles, because there weren't quite as many nonprofits that kind of helped, or volunteer organizations, or driving places like Go Grandparent that they could just call if they just needed a ride, sort of thing. But specifically, even after COVID, now we have less staff everywhere, globally across all of the service industries, but people have waited much longer at a much more acute level of whatever it is that they're struggling with, that they're challenged with. And so the need is so much more intense. And now you're struggling with people that can provide more care and a higher level of care. And there seems to be more of a reticence to go into community, maybe because of the lockdowns. That seems to be on people's, the forefront of their minds a lot. But those are the things that really are there. And it's sort of like people who don't want to use a cane or don't want to use a walker because they want to be independent. But those are tools to stay independent. Exactly. And sometimes just getting somebody in the house, even as little as once a week, to do the things that challenge you, that put you at risk, even things like changing the sheets on the bed, or when you're bending down to do the laundry and going to the dryer and back and forth, and you have back issues or mobility issues of any variety. Let us do the things that, put you a little bit at risk, so that that's not part of your equation. Right. And that's where keeping you independent, so you can do all the things that you enjoy doing and that you want to do and that you're capable of safely doing without having to worry about those kinds of things. It's a tool, and there are all kinds of tools, but it's a hard transition to get people to see that. My mom was kind of funny at 93. She's like, people are going to think I'm old. I'm like, Mom, let's just look at it. Historically, you are old. You're 7 years from being 100 years old.
Oh,
It's
God.
okay to use the cane, but when her sister was kind of stumbling, and she was like, she needs to use a cane because she's going to end up with a walker. And sure enough, she fell and ended up with a walker. And that is what made my mom say, okay, I'll use the cane. I knew it, but I wasn't ready, because sometimes it's a vanity thing. We're all 30, 40 years younger in our head.
I think I'm still 32 years old. I mean,
Ding, ding.
I'm only 34, but no.
Exactly.
But you do hit a very good point, and that's true. Losing independence, losing your ability to walk by yourself, or the vanity side of it. I was back home a couple of weeks ago visiting my own parents who are in a community, and trying to get my mom to use a walker, which she really could. It just would really provide some safety and peace of mind for the family. But I do think a lot of it is that vanity, and it's that piece of independence that is hard to swallow for folks. But like you said, by using certain pieces of support equipment or whatever the case may be, or having home care come in and help, it actually does the opposite. It gives more independence.
And the other thing that's kind of fascinating that we as family members often need to embrace is, as health is changing or circumstances are changing, our choices become more limited, and our abilities to make the kinds of decisions we always made become more finite. It's just a smaller pool, and people feel like they're kind of losing control. They want to be able to control the few things that they can. So we really have to change the way we have conversations with people, and we really need to be a little bit more empathetic as listeners and as humans, and a little bit less judgmental, so that we can help them to make those decisions and maybe point out some things and give them food for thought, without saying, this is what you have to do. My own sister was upset that my niece was saying, you got to do this and you got to do this. She fell and broke her femur in 3 places. She's 80. And she said, why does she just bossing me around? I said, because you're not even talking about it. You're saying I'm perfectly fine and there are no changes, but there are a lot of changes, and you're not addressing them. You're not acknowledging them. And she believes it's going to fall to her. So you have to let her know you're thinking about it. And that's an adjustment.
Well, and I think too, what you and I both do, and within our own businesses here, is we're able to be that outside party coming in. And, it's tough for families to have those conversations, those real, reality of conversations. And a lot of times families do get the brunt of, and if of a behavior or attitude is going to come out of it. And, from a home care standpoint, you're able to have those tough conversations with the individuals that maybe the family just isn't the right person to do that. And so, that's another added benefit outside from the obvious of coming in and helping with cares or tasks or things like that.
Somebody having that bird's eye view from the outside, and we don't have the emotion connected, right?
Exactly. So I know I don't want to keep you forever here, but I don't want to miss talking about an amazing event that you have coming up in the fall. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So I've been with Visiting Angel a long time, but I started these successful aging conferences quite a few years ago. We usually have a couple a year. One is typically dementia. Now we're having an aging conference, and we're hosting it down in Sun Lake. Sun Lakes United Methodist Church hosted our dementia conference this past February, and it was so successful. They're like, can we have one on aging? I'm like, we sure can. Let's get that out there. So uncovering the keys to aging more successfully is kind of the title of the theme of the conference. And when you think about what families are experiencing right now, or when they're experiencing changes, again, whether it's health or circumstance that they're having to do. Education is so key because we don't know what we don't know. And when we make decisions under duress, we don't have all the information, and we're making decisions in a hurry without being able to weigh our pros and cons and understanding a lot of the little details that make all the difference. So
Right.
this conference is really going to be about the details. Like, we all know we need to have our powers of attorney in order, and we need to have family on our HIPAA forms, but sometimes understanding the why of that and some of the tiny little details that go along with all of those pieces are what we're going to really focus on and get people to tune into with really trusted resources. We've got a great lineup of speakers. We've got Brian Brown, who is kind of a neuroscientist and nutritionist and dementia expert, I guess, but his focus is going to be uncovering the science of intentional aging. Everybody wants to age well, and it's not too late, no matter what age you are. Certainly there are some things that may, give you a little step, but he's amazing, and he's inspirational, and he really,
speaker.
Yeah, he's a wonderful speaker, and he spells it out to you. We are going to talk about Joan Marlowe is an aging advocate. She is an alternative health practitioner. She is kind of a magical person in terms of connecting with people and coaching them through what happens. But the title of her talk is Our North Star in Aging Successfully really is advocacy and self-advocacy, because there isn't somebody, we don't have that doctor that watches every move that we do now.
Right.
We've got multiple doctors, and we have to manage our healthcare in a very different way. And she's had some amazingly eye-opening experiences with herself in the hospital. We were both in the hospital very shortly after I got a new knee, and she had a bunion. And our experiences—
You were at the same time?
It was just back to back, kind of, little, but when we started telling our stories, and here we know what to do, what to ask, how to do it, and we struggled with just issues. And so she's just putting it out there to say, here's what you can do and how you can do it and what to look for. I'm going to do a class on normal aging versus not normal aging, because the biggest phone call I get, the most common email I get is, this is what I'm doing. Is this normal, or do I have dementia? And, now I'm a certified dementia practitioner and a trainer in the TIPA SNOW method of, positive approach to care. Everybody wants to know. So let's just put it out there. Here's what's normal and here's what isn't. So everybody has an idea. And then we've got Erin Francois, who is an attorney and who's going to give all those ins and outs, the details for estate planning that you don't really talk about all the time. And he does a lot with elder law, and it's very specific. And a lot of people haven't looked at their documents in a long time. So we're going to get that in. And then we'll have a number of breakouts. Carrie Ann from All About You. She's going to talk about the placement component, and when is it time for home care? When is it time to think about moving, and all those little details, and the importance about using somebody when you're just shopping out there and you've got plenty of time and you're ready to go to independent living, have at it. But when you have to make a move quickly, they don't know the ins and outs and the details of all these places or the group homes the way you guys do. You've got it all right in the palm of your hand, and it's just stuff everybody doesn't know. So we'll have some stuff about Medicare and veterans. So just details that will make everybody's lives a little bit easier.
You have some amazing topics that are definitely needed to be shared. I always say people don't wake up one day deciding, you know what, I want to go check out senior livings for mom, or I don't wake up every day thinking, gosh, I want to go set up my POA or my trust. And it's so important that people do these things to prevent the crisis from happening.
Well, and in the same way, we don't wake up in the morning and say, okay, today at 2 p.m., you're going to have a stroke. Or today at 4:30 p.m., your your spouse is going to fall and crack their hip. And all of a sudden, what seemed like a little bit of memory loss, all of a sudden now seems to have blossomed into some full-blown dementia because we had anesthesia and a whole series of traumas that our body went through. So it is. It's an
That's
important
awesome.
piece.
That's awesome what you're doing. And when is that? Is there a date set for that?
Absolutely. Thursday, October 13th. It will be held at Sun Lakes United Methodist Church, which is down on Riggs Road. In Sun Lakes, I don't know the address offhand, but it's the last church. It's easy to find. We'll get that on the website. And it'll be from 8:30 to 2:30. And it is a free event. Lunch is served. You're going to just walk away with checklists and tools, and you're going to be able to make a little binder and have everything in one spot for kind of what you need. And
awesome. I love it.
It will be on Successful Aging AZ is the platform that I hold all the conferences on. So as of whatever next week is, the week of the 22nd, everything will be up on the website so people can get all the information and RSVP.
Are these, I don't know, are these recorded at all for folks that can't make it, or is it strictly in person?
In the past, it's other than when COVID was going on and we did it completely online, it has been in person. We are considering doing some taping of it, but the church has been under construction and everything has been late because carpeting didn't arrive or this or that. So we've just got to see what's in line that we may be able to do it and get it done for those who haven't been there. So we'll see how that rolls.
Awesome. Well, I know you're going to do fabulous. I mean, like I said, I got a great lineup for that. If people want to get in touch with you regarding home care, what's the best way for them to do that?
We can just call the main office for Visiting Angels, which is 480, and we're Visiting Angels in the East Valley. Okay, this is franchise, so there's different Visiting Angels in different areas, but our East Valley office is 480-833-8247. And if they call our office and they live in Avondale, we'll just give them the number for Visiting Angels who serves Avondale or Glendale or wherever, Scottsdale.
Perfect.
We're happy.
Well, I appreciate you, Elaine. I appreciate you taking time today, just sharing, what we discussed, giving us a little sneak peek into your upcoming event. Is there anything else you want to share before we close out for today?
I don't think so. Just, if anytime you have a question, just call and talk to somebody about it. Our office is all about resources and putting you in touch with what you need. We really that's kind of the hallmark of what we do and how we do it. Because sometimes people just don't know where to go or where to start when they've got some kind of an issue. Start here and we can put you in touch with what you need. Even if you don't need home care, it doesn't matter. We'll get you hooked up to the right people that you need. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Perfect. And thank you to all of our viewers and listeners out there. If you haven't already, be sure to like our page, share it if you feel that you have family, friends, colleagues who could benefit from the topics that we are sharing on this YouTube. But I'm excited for what's to come for Miss Elaine and her upcoming projects. And I appreciate everybody tuning in today. So everyone have a great day and we will see you soon on our next YouTube session. Have a great one.